And you know, there's nothing like information to give you power in the workplace. When you have the right information and you know the rules better than the company, you hold all the cards, and then you can protect yourself.
The facts, dates, and events presented in this video are from the members' best recollection and may not be fully accurate. This video is intended for entertainment purposes only. Always consult with your local union about your rights and duties at your workplace. The opinions shared on this video are our own and do not necessarily represent my employer's positions, strategies, or opinions. All views shared are protected under the National Labor Relations Act.
What is going on, everybody? So today I have Norm out of Local 623 in Philadelphia and Greg Kerwood out of Local 25 in Boston. And we are going to be covering, I am being harassed, what do I do? So we have kind of come together and found 3 different areas that most members end up falling into when they end up getting harassed. You know, I feel like most people, when they come to work for this company, they generally just want to go in, do their job, and go home. Unfortunately, it's not that simple when you work for this company. So we're going to cover the 3 scenarios we see the most often and what is the best scenario for you to protect yourself if you're being harassed. So I'm going to also, like, I forgot to mention this as well. There's a lot of contract talk going on. There's going to be busy weeks and there's going to be non-busy weeks. And this week, just to let you know, it's a non-busy week. There was not any negotiations. There's nothing really to cover. Greg is now officially our contract spokesperson, even though he never agreed to this job. So, Greg, what is there? Anything going on with the contract right now?
There were no negotiations this week on the national. The 2 supplements that are outstanding still continued. I know Local 89 is still arguing over paying people to be shuttled from the parking lot to where they have to go because, as some of you know, Worldport is enormous, and it ends up being a significant amount of time that they spend unpaid being shuttled. We have 59 days left until the contract expires. The clock is ticking. The committees are going back this Monday, and they're going to be there in Washington pretty much nonstop until August 1st. Hopefully the company changes their approach, but it's getting down to crunch time, and everybody needs to start getting prepared, if they haven't already, to take this to the street if necessary.
All right. So back to our normal video. And don't click off, because I know some of you assholes are just here to hear about the contract and nothing else. We have important stuff to cover, okay? So we're going to go over scenario 1, right? Someone's being harassed, and they figure, you know what? The best thing to do to get management off my back is just to work harder, work with them, make sure that I don't have that target on my back. You know, Norm, what do you have to say about all that?
That is the easiest way to have the harassment continue. Fear is the greatest tool that UPS has against us as Teamsters. If you just think you're going to duck your head and dig in and they're not going to say anything to me, the only reward you get for that is more work. You become the whipping person. They're just going to beat on you. Okay, I know I can harass you. Okay, load this truck. Okay, let's run you over here, load this truck. Now go over here, unload that truck. Then when it comes down, you reload again. You have to stand up for yourself. We have to use our grievance procedure, have to call ethics. Whatever you do, you have to get your union involved.
Now, Greg, I'm going to throw it to you. Is there anything more you would like to add to that?
Yeah, I always tell people, if you work for UPS, you have a target on your back. And, you know, trying to get along with management, while that may seem like a good plan out there in normal world, it's not a good plan in UPS world. As Norm said, management will take full advantage of that. They will lie to you. They will promise you things that they don't deliver. They will take advantage of your desire to keep them at bay. And as Norm said, they will increase that harassment to keep you in that position. So that is not the approach to take if you are being harassed on the job.
So we're going to go to scenario number 2. which is, you know, you just had it, right? Management is just pushed you to the brink point, but then you go from 0 to 100 without knowing anything about the contract. Now, Norm, I'm going to throw it to you. How does this play out?
All right, first, always say something if you think you're being harassed, even if it's just a suspicion, say something. But like you said, you can't throw stones living in a glass house. You can't be that employee that comes in late every day. But okay, now you're saying something about my misloads or my drop bags, and now I want to file a bunch of grievances. I don't want to tell anyone not to file, but make sure you're clean, CYA and everything. Follow all the methods and just make sure you're doing the right thing before you start filing. You don't want to find yourself, okay, it's strange. I don't want to say don't file, but just make sure you protect yourself and you follow all the rules when you file.
I think he's actually very accurate on that. You know, I've seen it a number of times where people take it to the extreme, but then they're doing so many things wrong that can end up getting themselves fired. You know, once you start filing those grievances, management's going to start looking at you to see what you're doing. Greg, is there anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I would add that, you know, it's never a good idea to try to ignore that. If you're being harassed, find your steward and start whatever process you need to start to get the ball rolling. Letting it fester, letting it build up emotionally for you leads to bad situations where people say things they shouldn't say, do things they shouldn't do, maybe even walk off the job. And at that point, you've given management, you know, all the ammunition they need to get rid of you or hold it over you going forward in the future. As far as the process goes, you have to learn what your rights are in the workplace, and you have to learn what your obligations are in the workplace. And both of those are equally important. You need to know what you're entitled to, but you also need to know what you're required to do as an employee and what you should be doing as an employee, so that when you exercise your rights, management can't turn around and hold you accountable for doing the wrong thing on the job.
You know, that's a great segue into our third scenario, which is you're getting harassed and then you're like, oh, well, let me go see what my rights are. And then you start filing. Norm, what's your perspective on this?
It's a good thing. It's a great thing, actually. I love when people get motivated when they get involved. I'm sorry that it's taken harassment to get you to that point, but I welcome anybody that wants to become educated, get involved, and start to, you know, protect themselves.
Absolutely. Now, Greg, what's your perspective on all this?
I think that is absolutely the right approach. It's a controlled burn. You need to take all that anger and frustration, and rather than explode, channel it into learning the methods, learning the rules, learning your contract, talking with your steward, talking with your business agent, talking perhaps with some senior members who may be working near you or working with you who you see not being harassed, and asking them, you know, how it is that they do it. Or if you see someone standing up to management, you know, learn from them, reach out to them and say, hey, how does that work? You just told them off and they don't bother you. You know, what are you doing that I'm not doing? And take notes and learn. And, you know, there's nothing like information to give you power in the workplace. When you have the right information and you know the rules better than the company, you hold all the cards and then you can protect yourself.
Absolutely. You know, when I started getting harassed, I initially went down to my union hall and went to the union meetings once a month. And I learned through that way. You know, we all learn different ways, right? Through a contract book, find, like Greg said, find the guy that's already gone through the gauntlet and talk to him and see how he did it and kind of pick their brain on that. That's one of the main reasons we started this channel, was because we wanted to be a resource for people to find like how to handle these situations, because the situation you're going through and you're building, promise you're not alone. This is kind of, unfortunately, a nationwide problem. Otherwise, there wouldn't be like 3,000 people watching this every week. So it is an actual issue. And Not to plug in the channel, but there's plenty of information on here. We've done over 100 videos, and you could pretty much just, I said it in a YouTube short recently, but you can hit that playlist button under the channel, and you can just hit play all, and it goes from newest to oldest, and you can watch every episode we've ever created just to educate yourself. If you're going in fresh, you're going in not knowing very much, you know, we've been through the gauntlet. I think we have close to 100 years of experience just in this room alone. We've been doing it a very long time. All three of us have had that quote unquote target on our back. And you know, it's an actual thing, and it can put a lot of stress on your life. I remember for me, it stressed me out pretty bad. Unfortunately, or fortunately, you just get used to it, and then you start realizing that a lot of it's smoke and mirrors. So, but yeah, absolutely. If you're going through a situation where you're being harassed, learn your rights, then proceed. So before we get into the shout outs, I just want to gotta hand it to Norm. Appreciate you coming on. The hardest working business agent I've ever seen. He's always out at the buildings. Literally got on the call tonight, driving back from a building. He's probably had 3 hours of sleep, and he's probably going to get up and go out again. So Norm, appreciate you coming on the channel, of course. And if you have not checked it out, 623 Lives Matter on Facebook, pretty much any social media platform out there, you'll find 63 Lives Matter. And then Greg Kerwood, the hardest working rank and file steward I've ever seen. Read every contract book known to man, at least in the UPS world. So if you have not checked it out so far, go on his Facebook group, the UPS contract group. I'll put those two links down below in the description of this video. Shout outs. Norm, who are you going to shout out tonight?
I want to shout out all the part-time members at Local 623 in Philadelphia. That's my local. Listen, guys, I know it's tough right now. Stand tough, stand strong. Utilize that grievance procedure. Protect your work. We got to grieve and fight everything that the company's doing wrong. Protect yourself.
Awesome. Shout out to 623 on that one. All right, Kerwood, who are you shouting out tonight?
I absolutely have to give a shout out to my preload members in the Somerville facility. I asked them 2 days ago to show up in red today on Fridays as a show of solidarity, and they all did, and it was fantastic. Management was in a panic. One of the supervisors mistakenly wore a red shirt, which put him in a tough position. But it was really awesome to see. It made my day, and hopefully I know it's spreading around the country. I encourage everybody to do that in their buildings if they're not doing it already. It's little things like that that make a huge difference and bring people together. And that's what we need, you know, because it's 59 days away. So,
and we have a WhatsApp now. You know, some people don't get the notifications through YouTube that there's a new video out. Get a part of our WhatsApp group. I'll put the link down below. And also, if you haven't done so already, add us, Roswell Hub, on Instagram and TikTok. Donald runs those too. Appreciate you, Donald, pulling some of the weight off of my back. So love you for that. That's all I got. I'll see you guys around next Sunday. Later.